Hey, hello everyone. Another video, it's been a while, but I wanted to talk about a topic that's very important to me and probably other developers and entrepreneurs as well. So it's about the Activision API, or the Call of Duty API, let's say. So I'm making this video hoping that anyone at Activision Blizzard sees this and can maybe try to convince them why they should add back the API in Modern Warfare 3, or at least maybe it's already the case. I don't know. Anyway, still wanted to make this video because I just cannot understand why we didn't have anything of API for the past year in Modern Warfare 2. Because I believe an API really has mostly more benefits than not having one. So just wanted to shortly try to explain my vision or my idea and opinion on why it might be beneficial for you to have, what the benefits are of having a API. So API benefits. So I'm going to use the notepad. I stole it from Devin Nash, who was known for using it in all its videos and then writing down the bullet points. So API is a application programming interface. So what is it? So it allows third parties to interact with your product. So I'm not talking about Call of Duty, but it's not only Call of Duty, of course. APIs are everywhere, mostly in software products, to interact with your product, mostly in a automated way, with your product in a automated way, mostly. So no, not through a GUI, graphical user interface, a browser, or a desktop application, or an iOS app or Android app. So automated through using any kind of programming language. What does it mostly do? You load data from the product and load it into your own system or your own product. API is also allowed to update or even delete data. It all depends on what you allow and enable through your API. So load, update. Very brief, of course, because I'm gonna assume most people do know or have an idea of what an API does and enables. So let's start with benefits for the publisher. So in this case, Activision providing the API. So this is of course my vision or my opinion on it. So it allows anyone with the know-how to be creative with your game. So depending on the extent of your API, of course, the more you can do, the more there's possible. Build stuff on top of your game. As it is right now, of course, there's not much for Call of Duty specifically, at least. We only have the top like 250 that we can query, and that's it of the ranked modes, and the top 2000. So it's very limited, and even then, I think people are creating very interesting stuff. But if you look at like I always try to compare to other games. If you look at Counter-Strike, for example, where you can even download demos of games you played, and then there's tools that will completely analyze them, replay them, and get statistics like how good your aim was, heat maps, trades if you were good at trading, how good the trading was, positioning, anything to improve your skills, to improve your gameplay. So it's I mean, that's very deep, of course. You can how well your nades were thrown. It's very, very deep. It's called Leadify. So if you want to have a look, and that's an example of, for example, Counter-Strike, a tool that was built. I mean, imagine you'd have something like this for Call of Duty or for Warzone, where you could build heat maps on landing spots and what are the most used rotations, hotspots, anything. It's crazy. But yeah, anyway, so just an example. I mean, for what creative stuff can be done. So point one. Second benefit that actually builds, of course, on top of the first one, but it allows the publisher to not spend research and development budget, make no costs on development for trying out new stuff. Like very concrete example is actually 5M, which was built for GTA 5, a mod that allowed people to create roleplay servers and be very creative with it. In the end, it was so popular that it what kept the game very on top of the streaming charts and everything, that in the end Rockstar Games decided to even buy the company behind the mods. So I mean, isn't that amazing that you can see what okay, this tool that's built, it gathers a lot of interest. Maybe we build it ourselves, we put an effort in it to build it ourselves, copy, or we just buy it without having to upfront spend the development cost. In my opinion, it's a benefit for a publisher to have this. So so I'm just gonna write it shortly down, so no problem. And then third, keep control. So the third point on benefit for the publisher, keep control on your game data flows. So what does this mean? If you decide, if you have an API and you really put strict rules in place on what and how they can be used, with like OAuth and with getting approval from a player on can his data be used in statistics or not. If you work this out well, then you can really decide on how your data can be used. While if you don't have anything, probably chances are people are going to try to scrape stuff anyway and try to get tools that are not allowed, and you can at least then strictly say this is possible with our data, this is what our API allows. So you keep control on what can be done with your data. An interesting one also, like, I don't know, let's say Discord has it, I think, is if you want to build a third-party app using their API, then you have to register on their third-party integrators. Tools like Slack has this as well. This way they can keep a list of any app, any company, any person that wants to integrate with them, and easily contact them if they detect abuse. They know who to talk to. So you build a list of integrators, and they mostly have to state the purpose of the integration. So at least then, like beforehand, you could already say, okay, no, we don't allow this kind of integration. Please don't build this. Hey, no, we just don't allow it. So that's some of the benefits I see as a publisher. Maybe just to cycle back on point one, I'm like how is this a, maybe it was not completely clear on how this is a benefit, of course, for the publisher. So I think this keeps players happy and playing your game even more. And then, of course, the benefits for the community, even if your benefits for you as a company might not be completely clear, I think it's also important to just write down on what is beneficial for the players, for the community. So first point, obviously a lot of players are interested in their statistics. So if Call of Duty would just provide an API that's read only, just like, hey, you can get your stats, it would already be massive improvement just to know and see, like, how well am I doing, how am I progressing. So share stats, compare stats, and loadouts, of course, big thing in Call of Duty, loadouts, building loadouts, up to tuning loadouts. Not really a system that I'm personally a big fan of, but it's like really part of Call of Duty, so sure. But it just would be nice to be able to share your loadouts, compare your loadouts in an easy way. Let's write it like this: share and compare stats and loadouts. Like something also very interesting that, like, I remember on what we had, what was on Warzone Ranked, and one of the big stats platforms for Call of Duty, Warzone at least. It's like you could see if you played with a streamer. I mean, what's very interesting to know, like, was I in a lobby? Was I killed by a streamer, maybe even? Or did I kill a famous streamer? Just something simple and stupid, but a lot of people, and including myself, found this very interesting to know. Then, secondly, building upon this, of course, is more tournaments, integrations with Discord, mostly to engage with community. So what do I mean with this? It's like an API would allow you to, for example, set up a challenge with your Discord or Twitch community to say, like, okay, the person to get the most wins this week in my community wins a prize, with a leaderboard and everything. This is only possible, of course, if you have a decent API. No one's going to manually track all these wins. I mean, it's possible, but let's say it happens way less often. So it really creates a possibility to set up challenges, tournaments on small scale, for example, that I think would be so nice to have. I saw in year 1 of Warzone already popping up stuff where you had like challenges that could be created and then automatically tracked, the kill races, all the competitive side of the scene would be so much easier instead of having to manually track everything. And then also things like kill records could be put more in perspective, like was this in an easy lobby or in a difficult lobby. Would be more valuable to have spotting cheaters based on impossible statistics. You don't have to always rely on Activision to see if someone might be cheating, probably due to having a above 60% headshot percentage, stuff like that. It would just be nice to see. So I think that really would benefit like the players and the community. Then third point that I wanted to discuss is a bit, of course, responsibilities. That publishers and more integrators have when integrating or using data from the API is, of course, don't abuse, no abuse. Which is, of course, can be mitigated already a lot by the publisher if they put limits in place, any kind of throttling, register anyone that you want to use your API, like I discussed in point 3 of the benefits, keep control of the integrators. Secondly is like if you use the API, respect terms of services, and this is really like broad in a sense of like the publisher wants to protect brand and IP, so they want, if you organize our tournaments, for example, above certain pricing, above certain prize money, I know like the for Valorant, you need to get permission because certain scales, they really want rules on how their brand can be used, on how their artwork can be used. They want to protect their brand and IP. So and then of course in the end the revenue they get from it. So please do, if the API if you use it to organize tournaments, really read up on the terms of services, respect anything that's stated there. So yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. So I think that's very briefly my view and opinion on why I think it's mostly beneficial, and it's crazy not why you would not have an API. Really do have, I think they really should have an API. Yeah, that's it. That's about it. Thank you for listening. If you have any ideas, suggestions, feedback, please let me know. This is my first video in a while, so I'm not really used to recording. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next one.